Good afternoon. Hope you're having a great day. We got the gang here. Here's Sophia and Skeeter. They're pretty excited. I just got home, so we'll see how this goes. Well, on the drive this morning to pickleball, I was listening to Christian radio and a song came on and I was led to talk on the subject that I'm going to talk about today. And it has to do, God reminded me of 40 years of when I felt alone, afraid, sad, ashamed, fearful, anxious. And there's so many people out there I know that are feeling like that. And they don't know what to do, they don't know where to turn, and they don't know if they're going to get better. And I'm here to say all those bad things can and will go away if you do what I do or what I did. I'm no one special, and God showed me, and I'm just passing on the information to you. As a youngster, I was traumatized in my home by sexual abuse, and I didn't remember it. And so I didn't know why I was lost, alone, afraid, fearful, ashamed, all these. There's like 100 different after effects. I'm just naming a few of them. And I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I didn't trust people. They're the ones that had hurt me. It was people in my own home. So I just kept everything inside. And that's what a lot of people do because they don't know what else to do. But in my little mind as a child and teenager and young adult, I thought, a doctor. He's the one. He's the one that's going to heal me. All my faith and hope was in this doctor. So at a young age, in my early 20s, I mustered up enough courage and went and told him my problem. And he says, oh, you've got nerves. Very, very common problem. And here's a prescription. And I took this pill, passed out on the floor, woke up in the hallway, and I knew that was not my answer. And as I laid there on the floor, on the carpeting, I heard a voice say, drugs are not your answer. But I didn't know what my answer was. I was lost and didn't know what to do. I was hearing a stupid voice telling me to kill myself every day, but I knew that wasn't my answer. I knew something was very, very wrong, but I didn't know what the answer was. So many years went by, and I finally went to see another doctor. This one was a psychologist and then a psychiatrist. Well, when I told my psychiatrist all these problems, he said, well, there's no answer for your problem. Drugs, that's the only thing that we can do. And well, he's a doctor. I've been waiting, almost 25 years to hear the answer, and I guess that's my only answer. So he loaded me up with all kinds of things, and I took them. I went home, and pretty much all I was doing was sitting in a chair and rocking. The chair was still, but I was just going like this, because that's all I could do. I was so drugged up with meds, I couldn't hardly even walk. And as I was sitting in that chair, a still small voice said to me, again, drugs are not your answer. But I still didn't know what the answer was. I had no memories. I didn't remember any trauma, but I knew I had a laundry list of problems within myself. And A little more time went by and I saw a psychologist, and he said, well, you know what really helps being around people is to have a little alcohol. Well, I'd never had alcohol before. I had a little wine at communion, and he says, yeah, that'll loosen you up, make you feel better around people. Well, he knew I was on a boatload of drugs from the doctor, and he wanted me to do that, to add alcohol. Well, I did. He's the doctor I've been waiting for my whole life to make everything better. And when I began, I heard a voice again, that still small voice that said, alcohol is not your answer. So I didn't try that very long because I was a smart girl. I knew alcohol wasn't my answer, but I tried it because I was told to try it. And I just want you to know that if you're going through all this, there is an answer, and it's not drugs, and it's not alcohol. Definitely. I got addicted to Xanax for 3 years, and I couldn't go anywhere or do anything without my little container of pills. And I didn't gain any knowledge or gain any wisdom being on that drug. I just was a zombie. That was not my answer. And if you're sitting there today saying, I can relate to her, I've got all these issues too, there definitely is an answer for you. And it's not in a doctor, it's not in drugs, it's not in alcohol. But for me, when I was 40, that's how long it took me, I discovered that my answer was up above. It was God. And when I went to Bible verses like this one in Psalms 91, he will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and your rampart. When I saw this Bible verse, I'm a very visual person, and I saw that picture of this huge wing, and I would put myself underneath that wing, and I would just rest. I would just sit there, and I would wait. And I began to call out to God to help me, to fill me up, to answer my questions, to guide me. You know, I no longer was focusing on a doctor. I was focusing on God now. And I was resting in him. And he was showing me all these different Bible verses about he was my protector. He was my high tower. That was a word that really had my attention a lot. And it was just like I would put my hands around the high tower and I would just stand there. I wouldn't necessarily do anything, but I wasn't running anymore. I was just existing, but my hope and my prayer was in God. And that was the turning point for me. I was in my 40s, and I asked God to just take over my life, and that I wanted all the help I could get, because for 40 years I was just hanging on by my fingernails every day. It was such a long, long time to be suffering. And today my heart just goes out to people that are like that. They're just so lost and afraid, and I just want to give you hope that just by reaching out to God, resting in Him, asking for His help, He will help you. And ask to see His miracles. That's been the very, very best thing for me. And He has, one time I should just do a video on all the miracles that I can remember, because they were awesome. There was no way I could say that it was anything other than God and His presence and His help. And He's the only reason that I am here today. I was so close to ending my life, just so close. But now all I want to do is share and help people that are also so sad and depressed and anxious and all these different symptoms. Maybe whatever you have wasn't sexual abuse. It doesn't matter. If you're suffering, then God can help you. And it's just, it's kind of like if you're having a horrible situation, do you just sit there, or do you, and yet there's a policeman that's just right over there. If you yell, help, and he runs to you, that's what God does. You're just saying, help, come to me, and He will. And He can turn everything around. It wasn't until I was 65 years old and I was writing my very first book, Identifying and Healing Childhood Sexual Abuse. The very first thing is I prayed and asked God to show me what to write, how to help people. And He sent me into my computer to look up this one specific thing. And He brought me to the 100 after effects of sexual abuse. And that's the first time in my whole life that I saw a picture of how I felt and how my, okay guys, we're almost done here, just calm down. That's the first time I'd ever seen all of my problems on one piece of paper. They were all there. I had about 70 of the 100. Okay, almost done, almost done. So I pray that you make it a great day. Call out to Jesus. He will answer you. He will show you the way. Never give up. So make it a great day, and we'll see you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.